Hey everyone, welcome back to the 2023 PDGA Masters World Championships presented by MVP Disc. We're in Flagstaff, Arizona this year. We're on our round 2 of a 4-round event plus the final 9. My name's Stephen Waits. I'm joined by Steve Boylan. Steve, we're heading into Little America, the second course of the 2 courses at the MP50 Division Cs.
What a round it's going to be. We got Chris Smith, Mike Moser, Ron Convers, and Robert Bainbridge all on the lead card of MP50. These guys all have their individual skills and knowledge of the course, and man, this is going to be one heck of a round here. Looking forward to it.
The leaderboard here is definitely tight. You know, it's only five strokes between first and then a big tie for ninth. They're down towards the bottom. Hole 1, 653 feet, par 4. You need to contend with all these trees to get through them. If you can't get through the trees, then you got to find your way to this opening. If you get all the way through the trees, then you got to find your way to the basket that's covered on this really rocky hill surrounded by these guarding trees.
Welcome to your 3:20 tee time. First on the tee from Wichita, Kansas, Chris Smith.
Chris on the marks here, but yeah.
A lot of players are trying the Hyzer route off the tee. We'll see what these guys do here.
Chris's tee shot going pretty much
Next
down the
on
middle of
tee,
this hole
from
1 opening
Wilmington,
fairway
Delaware,
here.
Mike Moser.
If you don't, you got that low ceiling to contend with. It's going downhill. It's just a really challenging tee shot to get you going for the day.
Mike takes that low Hyzer route, gets caught up just inside the tree line there.
Next on the tee
Just missing
from
our
Blackwell,
cameraman.
Oklahoma, Ron Convers.
Rod is a multi-time Masters World Champion.
He's won 3 times on the PDGA Masters, and in 2017 he won both the Tim Selinsky Masters as well as the World Championship Masters.
So he's taking a more higher approach here to get through, finding that gap. And I think that one got down to the bottom, getting our cameraman turned around on the tree.
Robert Bainbridge.
We had Robert on our feature card round 1. He was runner-up this year's Tim Selinsky's.
Robert is number 7 in the Global Masters Series. What a player. Yeah, he's cashed in every event in the last 2 years that he's played. Man, he just kind of tags that first tree. Let's see how he gets out of this.
3 of our 4 players looking like they were trying to throw it down the hill while Ron went the more higher approach. And this is pretty much what you do if you don't get through these trees, trying to find your way out to the open to the other side. Robert actually did hit his knuckles on that tree through his follow through. I don't think it was enough to affect him fully, but you could tell that there was a reaction from it.
Here's Moser's approach coming in very nicely. He's going to be just outside where he wants to be. We'll see if he takes a big round at this one or not. Chris has got a pretty good look at this. Got a little Hyzer approach to this. We'll see. He comes up there. Yeah.
So Ron getting all the way through there, probably having the best look at it.
Down at the flat. Now you got the OB on the right side here. He goes straight up through.
Straight at it.
And then he tails off a little
and he
left.
sticks it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Probably within 10 right there. We'll look at the rest of our players who's trying to get up to the basket now.
Chris throws an up shot up. He's pretty close. Robert does the sidearm.
It stayed close, but he went just past it there. And then now Mike to go underneath the pin. So this would be for a 2.
No, this is for a birdie. It's a par
3,
4,
yeah.
so it's a 3, yeah. And of course, like you would expect from the guy with runner up on the PDGA putting challenge this weekend, Ron nails that one.
As we watch the rest of the field tap in for pars here, the Little America course definitely a change from round 1 Stewart Park. The wind is always a factor out here. The elevation changes are there, but not as treacherous. But it's the ground play I think a lot of people speak of. Just a lot more rocks and boulders filling the fairways.
Well, actually, walking is kind of a adventure. You have to keep your eyes down because there's a lot of rocks and sticks and everything you can step on.
I think I heard some players taking over-unders on rolled ankles.
Practice. It's the difference between good and great. Distractions are obstacles. Eliminate them and see how far you can go.
Hole 2, probably the most picturesque hole, the one that a lot of people might remember coming off of this course. 324. You got a water carry here. It sits kind of on a peninsula. There's OB left and right of the basket. Those rocks on the left are out of bounds.
Key here is not to get it up too high because it will float left on you. So let's see what Ron does here. As you expect, he does a little flex, comes back in. Oh, wow, that's beautiful. He's got a nice little putt. Let's see what happens. Chris is up next.
Players throwing towards the peaks here. This course plays a little bit of lower elevation than Thorpe Park. He sends that one just a little bit long and right.
The wind is swirling here, and it swirls here so often that you just don't have a great read on what's going to happen. Oh, Mike sends a really nice hyzer, gets a little bit of rollback, so he's on that circle's edge.
Robert now, after hitting he hit that tree with his throwing hand. Just something to think about this whole round. It doesn't look like it's gonna bother him much.
Lines it out a little bit, does come in nicely. Looks like he's got some shade there, so he might be playing some shade golf. That's a Masters Pro move.
Uphill, tailwind putt.
You see that flag moving. It's not always one direction, but this putt's can be kind of nerve-wracking at this point in time. So it's early on. You want to get these things in. Oh, wow. Chris just splashes out. Looks like it was a solid putt, too.
Ron's our last chance here for a birdie.
He squares up nicely. He's got a nice routine here, so... Rob just goes at it. He's got that nice fluid, smooth stroke on that putt.
Probably because of the wind and
Well, that OB comes into play.
comes in quite quick.
And that drop zone is really punishing if you get to it. So you don't want to be in that drop zone. These players are trying real hard to make sure they're in bounds on that one.
Hole 3 here, pretty much a straightaway shot. 316. You are perched up a little bit above the basket from this tee. Ron forcing one over here.
What a
rock right
great
in front of
shot.
him.
Great start.
Stayed there.
Chris says I can get in this game. He's got just outside the circle putt. We'll see how he handles that. You notice there, Mike's famous for that little bunny hop that he's got there, and man, he's so accurate off that tee. It's great to watch him.
As we watch Robert's shot just drive right up in there next to Chris's, you can see why this hole played under par. First one of the round, playing under par for the MP50 division. Everybody probably within circle one or right around the edge of it.
It's no surprise this group is all
Great putt.
within that realm. Beautiful putt, straight in. Never got it up too high. Never got the wind, let the wind affect it. That's awesome. Mike taps in. Ron's got about an 8-footer. Now what Ron's doing here is really kind of key. He's taking his time. So many players, they get up there and they rush that in because they just want to get that birdie. And man, you got to respect that. You square it up nicely and just put it in.
That putting now is giving the turkey on the round, starting 3 down through 3. Going in hole 4, par 4, 643 feet. Players are looking to throw up on this flat spot right here. You are throwing uphill before drastically back down towards the basket with a drop and OB long of it.
The OB to the right of it, it's kind of tricky. You don't want to go over that ledge there because it can roll just past it. But the key on the drive here is you want to throw it about 350 to 400 feet on a, you can do a flex or a Hyzer, flex shot or just a straight Hyzer if you can get up the hill. But it's just about 15-foot elevation altogether before you start heading back down.
When I was looking at this hole just from filming, I really felt like the right side would be the side to be on, so you got more space to work with when you come into that approach, as opposed to if you threw something at a hazard out early and then you're coming straight at the basket and straight at that drop off.
Yeah, you don't really, a lot of people play it two different ways. Looks like Mike's going more on the left side here. Can't complain about that because he got so far up there. Again, it's that approach that's going to be the key factor on this. Each one of these players know what they want to do. Me personally, I like to go as far straight as far as I possibly can before it tails out left, so I can have an easier approach to it.
Robert got a nice little break there. It looked like he hopped up into that small pine and it just rolled out of it instead of having to throw from inside there. But
on the right side of this, when you're approaching,
he got caught behind that fallen tree.
Yeah, on the approach, it is guarded on the right side of this. Looks like Mike's got a pretty clean shot at this. Let's see how he handles it.
Again, these guys are coming fairly straight towards it.
Oh, he catches the tree on the right.
It out, yeah. Go too far.
It did kick him toward the target, but it looks like he's going to be outside.
We're getting a forehand from Ron Convers.
Ron's got some unique skills. He wants that thing to go up there and just kind of float down toward it.
What a shot.
He's got a great shot there. He's got another look at another birdie. And man, this is exciting. Starting off hot.
Chris Smith, first time I think on coverage for him, especially it was only his second major championship. He is definitely a forehand player. He has a lot of distance with it. He throws both shots really well. He did go out of bounds right here off of that second shot over that hill. And it almost came back to save par.
The course played, this hole here played just over par, but we did have 25 birdies on it, and actually we had an eagle on it by Adam Chmielewski. I don't know how he did it, but I'd love to hear that story. That would be pretty amazing. Getting a 2 on this particular hole at 643 feet with all the dangers on it.
Ron's third shot now.
That looked like a solid putt. It just kind of folded out the back right side on that. I'm sure he's disappointed, but he's been playing well, so I anticipate him to continue playing well.
I feel like any type of slide throughs or just spit outs that we've seen, well, not necessarily spit outs, but misses have been on that right side of these baskets this week. I know Brian had 1 or 2 in round 1. just sliding through those chains on the right side.
These guys all tap out, finish up. I think they're mostly pars here. So we'll go on and see what's going on next hole. Next hole has
PDGA Event Support Helpline.
We're trying this cool new thing where we have an alligator pit on the 18th green. It's gonna be epic.
I don't think having literal death putts is a good idea.
Okay, I'll consider it. Oh, no, boy, no!
this hole here is a fantastic hole. It's slightly uphill, but it's got that one branch that just flew under that actually dictates whether or not you want to go high or low. So the players off the tee have to choose which direction they're going to go. The fairway is pretty pronounced, but you have to decide whether or not you're going to go underneath that branch or over. It looks like Ron is pointing like he's going over that branch at this point in time. And yes, he does. Turns it right. He wants it to fade back left, and unfortunately, in this case, it does not happen that way.
As we watch Mike through here, there was a note I wanted to say that Ron got up to hole 4 there and learned that his go-to destiny had a huge gash in it, probably from ground play or a rock somewhere, so it's a disc that he's without this round. And he's resorting to other disc here on some of these throws that he might not have practiced with.
We've seen two people go over it and one person go underneath that branch. Let's see what Chris does. Chris did end up bogeying the last hole. He's bringing the rest of the field closer to him. And that one branch got him.
Just barely caught it.
Yeah, so you have to make that decision. You have to commit to going under it or over it. It's a tough play because it is uphill, and there's some distance there as well.
Definitely wanting to get a little bit closer for the par, or trying not to go back-to-back or bogeys now. Ron with the big jump putt. Gave it a great bid, just outside of the cage.
He's right there ready to tap in.
Mike off the cage.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so Mike makes a big run at this and just falls a little short, but wow, that was pretty.
Can Robert throw it in? We're getting closer. He too, just outside, but all three of those up shots were great runs for it.
Chris looks like he's struggling just a little bit. I anticipate he'll come back. This is Chris's only second Masters Championship. The last time he played was in 2016, I think, and he took third in the MP40 division. See these guys tap in.
Head into this 659-foot par 4. Common theme on these courses, somewhere between 600 to 700-foot par 4s the players will see. Hole 6 here, again, you want to get something out there where the camera flew over so you can come in at this basket. There is an OB road long left. You really got to pump it out there to get to that, though.
You do, but there's actually two different routes here. So there are a lot of people that are going to the left side, and instead of trying to go up through the gap, and so they can have a hyzer to the hole if they were playing left or right.
Something similar to what Ron.
Yeah, but I think Ron did it on purpose.
Yeah.
I think
a little too far left.
Yeah, so it's going to be a little tricky to getting up to that green, but let's see how Mike does.
Mike looks like he centered up that gap, but just that one, and then he had the gap on, and then it just kept going on him. That little headwind that they're throwing into, and it hit a tree, kicked right.
Yeah, it faded to the right a bit and just caught that tree and kicked. So he's going to have an interesting look. Robert just comes up and laces it through the middle. That is a beautiful shot. That's exactly what you want from this hole. He'll have a clean look at it.
He found that spot somewhere between those first two drives, and now he's giving Chris the pathway. Chris does the exact same thing, lacing one.
Follows up.
Coming out a little early, but he got through there way down the fairway.
Chris is going to have a nice open look at that. So
Ron's got a lot to work with getting that kick to the left of that gap. He's got to come all the way through.
He puts it up there pretty well. He knows at that point in time he's probably looking at trying to save par versus trying to get that birdie. So he plays the smart move and goes that direction.
Mike has a nice window over here.
Mike does.
Clipped a limb though, probably about 60 feet down from him, and it kicks straight towards the ground. So
yeah, unfortunately that limb's gonna probably cost him a little bit on that distance. Robert comes up.
Tree hit too.
Wow, that's kind of surprising. He had such a beautiful shot there.
I thought he was around that tree, and then no. And so here we go with Chris and his long drive that he had, going huge, wide route, getting a little bit of ground play, probably just enough to get him close inside circle. You know, it's hard to get a skip on some of these greens with the amount of rocks and boulders on the ground.
Chris is also looking at getting a little redemption from that last hole. He, missed that little putt, and so he wants to get back in and get on that right train. So
Ryan's coming in really high, going to be left of the basket by that fallen tree. Robert, after that unfortunate final tree kick that he had, sending that one just a little bit long too.
These are both gettable putts. You do have to contend with that log, the end of that log, but
wind is whipping here. Is a straight headwind uphill putt for Ron. And Chris's drive. He needs this to get back to even for the round.
Taking his time. Like the wind is still blowing. Beautiful putt, square in the middle, just over the cage. Beautiful.
I'd say he's back on track now. It's a huge putt to hit after back-to-back bogeys. He's back to even. Ooh, just getting caught.
The root system of that tree just grabbed it and said, I'm going to keep that one. I'm sure he'll get it back, but unfortunately, it got in the way of that putt. It's like Robert was able to look at that line a little bit. May actually try to go completely around it.
So Chris with a solo birdie. Everybody else is going to walk away with a bogey.
This hole plays just over par, so it's not quite unusual that these guys struggled on this a little bit. We'll head into hole 7 and see how things are going here soon.
.364-foot, hole 7, par 3, coming back towards the road. There's OB, well, not OB on this one, I'm thinking of the next hole, but really is just get the straight gap. I mean, there's an opening to the left that players can take, forehand or a high turnover shot.
Key is to get through those first 2 trees, and then if you can miss that tree on the right, you'll have a fairly decent look at it. Looks like Chris is out there outside of right around circle 2 area.
The tree's got some guardians right in front of it, so you gotta pick your way to go around them, left or right of them. Ron's going to go for that high turnover shot.
That's a pretty interesting shot because it will force the disc down if you can maintain the Anheuser. The problem is a lot of times with this elevation, the fact that these discs do come out of it, controlling that to go all the way to the ground is pretty hard to do. And both these guys just did a great
take
job.
The same angle, yeah, both just going just in front of the basket. I think Robert's going to go for that right side gap now. Yep.
But,
a little bit of a turn on it, needs to just stall out on the basket. And it hit a tree.
Yeah, he hit a tree. It looks like he came down short of it. He's got a little ways up there. A nice little forehand getting up there. Caught a little bit of limbs. but he's putting.
Chris pin high, but probably about 60, 70 feet left of the pin.
Yeah, he's circle 2 edge. See if he makes a run on it. He kind of puts it up there a little bit, but
Good run.
yeah, it's just with that wind, and he played it safe too, so that's a good way to do it. Ron's putting here for birdie. Looks like he's circle edge. You got to go around that tree a bit. Just low.
Off.
Yeah, he's begging for it to go up.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that didn't happen. All right, Robert's got this tricky putt through this tree. Save his par. Bam! He hits the chains and it pops back on him. That's disappointing. He's got that pure straight putt. Doesn't take a whole lot of time when he putts, but you know he's got his routine now.
I think the wind's moving so that everybody has a headwind put on this hole, no matter which angle you're coming from.
Yeah, it does seem to be that wind just keeps following them. Now, if you like a wind, swirling, and a lot of these players don't mind the wind too much. It doesn't affect them, as years and years experience. These guys are the best.
So the next hole, par 4, 648 feet downhill. The 8th hole here is one I was thinking it has that OB that's somewhat of a danger right and long of the basket. It's not terribly close. It's not within circle 1, but it is there. I know they had a spotter out there to help. And with it being downhill, it will definitely bring it in play on those second shots. And the opening here where you want to land has a lot of small fresh pine trees are right here that we're seeing where the camera's at.
You do have some precarious footing with some of the on your upshots, but right around that green, it appears like they've taken out most of those rocks around that green. So a lot of players are getting some skips into it on their second throws.
A little high, and he hit one coming out of the gap there, out of that second gap. Might go for something big here.
He's looking at his chops, so let's see what he's got.
Turns it over, coming back around. Can he get over all those?
Flexes down, has a really nice throw. He's got a short distance to the
Could be
target.
just inside the trees, yeah, but definitely a great drive.
Robert looks like he puts a full send on it, has a good time with it. It's got, just clips that tree. But he's still got a pretty decent look at it to the target. It is downhill.
Rod's so far back that he might be able to see the top of the flag, but he's still got to throw up and over that hill. And now he's definitely, I guess you crash those trees right there by the basket. You don't have to worry about the OB. Yeah, and Robert, anybody landed in this area, you're going to have something that's in your stance or in your pull through.
It's kind of tricky. If you go left of that area, if you
Pushing that law, tree saved. I bet that tree saved him there. Got the green flag. Mike, he too having to throw over those small pines. Everybody's cleaning up into those trees just outside circle.
playing this hole, if you can get a little bit left off of that tee, you can have a cleaner shot off those small pine trees.
Good upshot by Chris. What a bid by Robert.
Moser here, lining up. Boom. Man, that's beautiful. Straight in.
Huge putt.
Massive. He's
Big.
pretty excited about that.
Get some under par through these 8 holes now, and Ron for his par. Definitely getting frustrated with that putting. It's still early in the round for him though.
Got a couple of dad hat sightings here between Robert and Ron Convers.
And now Chris for making this hole look easy here with this
tap in birdie, yeah.
That's
Oh, man,
birdie.
fantastic. So Chris is back on schedule. He's
Back under par along with Mike.
Hi, I'm Innova Team Captain Nate Sexton. Welcome to our instructional disc golf series. Maybe even bank over to the right, and that's going to give the putt loft. Slight flex line, so you'll see this come out a little bit higher to give you a variety of different shot shapes. The farthest away player should go first towards the basket.
All right, hole 9, 261 feet, par 3. You're throwing uphill to a rocky green again. There's definitely, you want to be up on top, right underneath the basket. Anything 7 feet or more further, and you might be losing a disc and getting them chipped away. There's a lot of rocks on this green.
Chris plays the hyzer.
Look at that tree saved him. That
Saved
dropped
him.
him straight down. So he'll be within circle off of that. Good tree.
He played it that way.
Yeah. Mike going for that wide route too. Little low. He's gonna be right around circle's edge, just outside. He'll have to have a putt looking up at it. Maybe contend with the tree that's on the top of the green there.
There is a route going straight up the middle at it, but with the height that these players have to throw, most of them know that they have to get it up higher, so they're using the hyzer to be able to get some of that distance.
That worked for him. He got on top there. He has these straight shots down, and he's been doing them all rounds.
He dialed that up, smacked the tree. He's still within the circle's edge, that kind of a thing. So let's see how that plays out.
I think Mike's trying to line up
He went for another big putt. He had that one in that last hole. It was a beautiful putt. He tried to duplicate that and just came short.
what a putt.
Robert's putt's so
That was-
pure, so quick. It just goes in. You just
Big
love
birdie
to see that.
putt, straight drive at it. Then the huge putt after that small.
Chris Smith here taking his time, making sure he's all lined up and getting a good feel for it. Just off the cage. Started to roll, but it stopped pretty quickly. I'm glad it stopped for him because you don't like to see those kinds of things. And then Ron Carver come up here. He's looking to get a nice birdie here to see what happens. Beautiful. Dead in the heart. No worries about that one splashing out. Chris and Mike clean up. And after 9, what do we got, Steve?
Yeah, so we watch Mike and everybody tap out through the front 9. The players, 1 under. We got a 3 under by Ron Convers. It's still really tight. Robert did go 1 over there with the rough middle section, but Chris is not really growing on the lead. And Brian coming on chase card is 4 down through those front 9, so he's charging up the leaderboard, and then Chris has only got a 1-stroke lead over 3 players. Scott Merritt going 3 down. Seems like a pretty common thing through the front 9. There's 3 under.
There's scoring opportunities on the front and the back. The 3 easiest holes on the course are all in the back, though, so we'll see how this pans out.